Good morning, Niagara. You're tuned into Car Connection, where the coffee's hot, the tools are ready, and the talk is always tuned up. I'm your host, Niall Motormouth Jenkins, coming to you straight from the Car Connection workshop, where we mix a little humor, a little know-how, and a whole lot of horsepower. Here, it's not just about fixing cars, it's about keeping you rolling, saving you money, and giving you the confidence to understand what's under that hood. From the classics to the commuters, the weird noises to the what the heck moments, we've got you covered. So grab your coffee. If you're just heading through the drive-through, a good idea is to double check your order. Just saying. And lock it into your cup holder and join the crew, because this is Car Connection, your Monday through Saturday morning pit stop for stories, smarts, a few good laughs. And I'm Niall Motormouth Jenkins, and we're going to shift this thing into drive. Well, you join us here with the Motormouth Morning Drive. Thank you for inviting us into your car or wherever you're tuned in from. This is episode 2, and we're going to jump into it in just a moment. Filling your stocking with fuel-saving tips. I have 4 more, and then you add up your scores. So if you missed the first half, we'll talk about that in just a moment. But Car Connection is brought to you by Crystal Ridge Dream Center, serving men, women, children, and meals, love, and hope, and changing lives one at a time throughout the entire Niagara region. They are our faith-based, nonprofit organization that's doing a lot of what many of us can't, and that is to reach people, help them where they're at. And all we need to do is just give them a few bucks every single month, because I'll tell you, they know how to take a nickel and hammer it into a dollar. So would you consider being part of the community and donating a little something once a month, whatever you can do? Just click on their logo on the homepage of our website at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com, and that's where you'll find all our recommended businesses, program partners, and those who make Car Connection Workshop and Car Connection Possible, our YouTube channel. So we thank you for that ahead of time. And Car Connection also brought to us by one of my favorite places to purchase a pre-owned automobile, City Auto Sales and Leasing, because I know you can buy with confidence and be treated with nothing less than honesty and integrity. They sell no junk there. Low mileage, quality vehicles at fair prices. That's how they've earned the title GTA's, Greater Toronto Area's premier pre-owned auto store. Over 25 years, they have the resources to source clean, low mileage vehicles. They do carry a really good inventory of stock, but if they don't have what you're looking for, don't pass them by. Just let Earl and Louise know what you're looking for, because they have the resources to find that specific vehicle for you and do all the legwork. And Earl and Louise, they're car guys through and through. They are picky. So visit them and let them know that Car Connection sent you. And you know what? You can feel absolutely confident in referring someone to City Auto Sales and Leasing. Thank you to Rita and Ramiz Shanuda at Rainbow Motors and Garage. They also make Car Connection possible. Sales and service you can trust, always. And they have a small inventory of vehicles, which anything you purchase there, you can buy an extended warranty on. I want to make sure I mention that as well. Let them know that Car Connection sent you. You can buy a vehicle there, purchase a vehicle pre-owned, and have it serviced there. The guys work on all years, makes, and models, and up to and including light commercial vehicles. Rainbow Motors and Garage, sales and service that you can trust. And thank you to our certified financial planning professionals, Tony Miele and Larry Tetro. 50 years combined experience with IG Wealth Management. These guys have been, they have been given awards for being 2 of the best in all of Canada, certified financial planning professionals, and we are blessed to have them. They're both, I call them my brothers from other mothers, but I'll tell you this, you want them in your corner if you are dealing with portfolio of investments that's not making you any money. If you've got money invested at the bank, you need to get it out of there because you can be doing 100% better than it invested in the bank. And the reason being is when you have that discovery meeting with Tony or Larry, you'll find out the reasons why. I'm not going to spend that time here telling you. I can just say this. I've worked with both of them for over 20 years, and I'll tell you what, I wouldn't listen to anyone else. And remember this, if someone's giving you financial advice and they're not standing where you want to be, then you should not be there taking that advice. Smile, give them the respect they deserve, but move on. So from investment portfolios to retiring debt, estate planning, wills and powers of attorney, arranging a mortgage, life insurance, and critical illness insurance, those are all the things you need to have in place because there's 6 pillars to a financial plan. And a financial plan does what? It gives you a roadmap to achieve success with your goals and your dreams. Without the plan, you know what? Imagine not having GPS, a roadmap to look at, or someone to ask if you're lost. How are you going to get to that destination? Trial and error. So if your way's not working, grab an hour and a coffee with Tony Miele or Larry Tetro. You have that given to you complimentary because you know me and you know Car Connection. Let them know that I sent you. Just click on their logo on our homepage at ccbusnet.com and connect. Book that discovery meeting. We call it the hour and a coffee. They'll meet you in person, by Zoom, by phone, in their office, or wherever you feel comfortable and confident. But I will say this. Please don't pester them if you're just looking to kick the tires. And the reason I say that, I say it in love, is these guys don't need any more clientele. They don't. But because they know me, they've promised in 2007 when we brought them on as a part of our Car Connection live automotive call-in program to help you navigate your way to make that next vehicle purchase, to help you to be able to put together a budget to keep that older vehicle going and or take care of the next vehicle better than you did the last one. How to run your household properly financially and get out of debt and move forward. You get to have that hour in a coffee discovery meeting with them to get answers to your questions. I really want to press that at this time of year. It being Christmas Day, we're only days away from a brand new year. Get started with that discovery meeting. Get things looked after. You're not making, I'm going to tell you this straight up. You have investments at the bank, you are not making any money. It's disgusting. The profits that banks make. And it's public knowledge. You can look it up. How much money, profitability the banks have made, and a majority of that is off of those of you who put your money in the bank for investments that make you very little. A Ziploc bag full of cash. So check in, get that hour and a coffee. I parked on that a little bit today because we are days away from a brand new year. And if you're having problems getting investments rolling, you have investments through your work that aren't making you any money. You have money maybe in a TFSA, a tax-free saving account, and it's just sitting there chugging along at 1 or 1.5% when you can actually have that money invested in investments that are making you dividends and building your TFSA for you, tax-free. They don't do that at the bank. You won't take a TFSA out with the bank, it's got the handbrake on, and it's not making you pittance. But if you do that with Tony or Larry, they will invest your TFSA and make it make more money through dividends. in investments. Gives you an investment portfolio. How cool is that? So there's lots of questions. Get them answered. You have an estate, you have a checkbook and a bank account, an automobile, a snowmobile, a boat, children, a wife, a husband. You have an estate that needs to be planned for. And I'm pushing it because we're heading into a brand new year. Do you have these things covered? Do you have an estate plan? Do you have powers of attorney? Do you have any of that? Do you have a will? Not one that you buy at the store in a packet. That doesn't hold any water. And if you read that packet all the way from cover to cover, at the end you will see this should be checked by a lawyer, an attorney. Why? Because it will not hold up in a court of law if it's contested. It will not hold up. So, move on to mortgages. I haven't had a mortgage with a bank. You know why? They treat you like poop. Exactly. Especially if you're like me, self-employed for most of my life, the majority of my life. And you know what? I had a bank manager at a specific bank that said, Niall, I hate small businesses. I left. And I went back to the credit union. And you know what? They treat you like a human being there. I like it there. So take that hour and a coffee, get it booked right now because the fellas are really, really busy and they can also sit down and tax plan with you as well. They have every single thing about money and life and financials completely organized to help any situation. Get that discovery meeting booked and organized, and don't do a no-show either. Again, don't call them and book a meeting if your intentions are not real. Thank you for that. The Grimo family, Niagara Block, 5000 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, are the people that you want to connect with. Why? They've been building Canada since 1931. Building supplies, hardscape, landscaping materials. They can connect you with the people that can get that job done for you. They can also set you up with all the amazing outdoor products that you need to make that outdoor space your own. And I'll tell you, the materials they have, the customer service, you are in the right spot with Niagara Block. 905-356-2221. Their logo is on our homepage. Check in with them. Again, those you may know in your circle of friends, maybe family, maybe yourself, that have an ongoing addiction. Well, let's deal with it and nip that in the bud right in the beginning of a brand new year. With Total Freedom Darien Center, New York, the campus is open to Canadian residents as well as U.S. residents. That's for men and women. Total Freedom Sydney, Manitoba, Canada. That's with Rick and Robin, the facilitators. And let me tell you, they know all about addiction. They have a great story each to tell you, a testimonial. That is a men-only campus, and here's what waits for you: a brand new life, to start a brand new year in top drawer condition, knocking out that addiction, because you cannot do it on your own. I've heard people close to me say that. No, you can't. You cannot get through that addiction alone. You need help. And that's what they do there. We have a merch store on our website at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. Here's how that works. You buy some Motormouth Car Connection merch. The proceeds go to Total Freedom Darien Center, New York, and Sydney, Total Freedom Sydney, Manitoba, to help those who cannot afford to get into a campus. They turn no one down. So you buy some merch from us. You're helping someone get free from a horrible addiction, no matter what age group. And that's what our entire vision for Car Connection, our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, Stevensvilleontheweb.ca, and our iHeartRadio podcast right here that is on every single platform you can think of. So wherever you're pulling your podcasts from, type in the search box Car Connection Workshop, and we will pop up. You'll find us there. We've also archived our podcasts on our website as well in the archive section. So you can listen, re-listen, upload. You can borrow it and use it and share it. Any one of our podcasts. So all that is available because of our program partners, but we want to get monetized moving into 2026 so we can help others even more. We can purchase car parts to keep a single mom's vehicle going on the road, a widow, a senior, just a family that's struggling just to keep the lights on and the heat and the water and food on the table for the kids, but they need that little beast to continue to run. It turns into a collector's piece after a while. We can do that with your help. Push us forward and keep us rolling with Car Connection and our Car Connection workshop and all the platforms that we have where you'll see videos that you see on YouTube, you will not see on Facebook, Instagram, etc. But you will see reels, outtakes, and bloopers, and just plain old laugh your butt off videos that my videographer Skippy puts together and posts on Facebook, Stevensvilleontheweb.ca. Click on the businesses tab to find us there. Our profile pops up. Thanks to Skippy. She runs that website, created. It's just amazing to see what she's doing with all the businesses in Stevensville, Ontario, pulling them all together and giving them some profile out there on the platform. Instagram, there's reels and videos there and outtakes and bloopers. And also, we're on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and all the platforms. So let's get into what I have for you today. Get your sidekick there, your passenger, if you have one. Give them the crayons. Give them that leaf bag, because you're going to want the second half of fuel-saving tips. I've already doled out the first 4. If you missed that, dive into our iHeart podcast channel and find part 1, because you're going to need that to score yourself. You're scoring your vehicle on lost fuel economy, and you are going to be shocked at the end. So let's jump into part 2. Tire inflation. That's number 5 out of 8. This one really knocks it out of the park. Underinflated tires increase rolling resistance, that's friction, and cause a decrease in fuel economy. I'm going to give you 2 statistics. First, I'm going to give you, if you have tires underinflated on your vehicle, which I could tell you right now, if somebody brought me 10 vehicles at random, 9 out of 10 of those vehicles will have 1 or more tires underinflated. And this time of year in the winter, when the air molecules shrink, all air molecules in a tire pass through the sidewall of the tire. That's the thinnest part of the tire, and it's a natural occurrence. It's not a leak that we can fix. It's what we call a natural leakage. Yeah, I can think of other things too, but I won't. This is a family channel. Leakage. Yeah, as you get older, that's what happens, leakage. Anyhow, that's why it's important, more so in the winter months, to stay on top of your tire pressures. But when you get this next statistic on the fuel saving tips on tires being underinflated tires are costing you a bundle in lost fuel economy and wear and tear on the tire, because heat is the enemy when it comes to mechanicals and components on your vehicle. Heat is the enemy. Friction is heat. Underinflated tires, that's friction. Yeah, I could tell you a story about my videographer, if I've got time, about underinflated tires. Yeah, so you just learned something. Even though we videotaped segments on tires, tire pressures, and the like, yeah, somebody was driving their van with a flat tire, and fully flat, and wasn't paying attention that, well, something's not right. So anyhow, underinflated tires, mile per gallon penalty is 1 to 2 miles per gallon. Now I'm going to throw a secondary tidbit in there for underinflated tires. Ready? Write it down. For every 1 psi of underinflation, you're losing 2% fuel economy. 2% on one tire. One. And hopefully your vehicle has 4. I'm hoping. Yeah. I'm hoping for you. You got four tires on your vehicle. So for every 1%, 1 psi underinflated, 2% loss in fuel economy. And you're wrecking the tire. Just saying. It's prematurely getting tore up on the inside of the tire on the sidewall because that's the part that cannot take a lot of heat. And it cannot stand being underinflated because the rim, when the tire's underinflated, cuts into the sidewall of the tire and chews it up. And you can't see that from the outside, but then you now have a tire that's been compromised. And let me tell you, you don't want that tire on the front of the vehicle as a steering tire because when that sucker blows, it'll be a better ride than anything you can get at Canada's Wonderland. Got me? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tires are costing you a ton of money when you run them underinflated. And before the armchair warriors speak up, you cannot look at a radial tire and tell me and look me right in the eye that it's underinflated or overinflated. If you could, you should probably be working at NASA because it's not true. You don't have that trained eye. The tire pressure gauge does. So $5-6 for a decent tire pressure gauge, even more. I spend $20 on a tire gauge, and I take very good care of it. So I know that it's accurate, and I have a digital and an analog gauge as well that I can check my pocket. My pocket on my coveralls. That is my friend, tire pressure gauge, and I need to know that I know that it is accurate, down to at least a 1/4 psi. So that when I'm checking tires for people or myself, I know that it's reading correctly, and I can check that against my analog gauge and my digital gauge to make sure that it is accurate. Because if you keep dropping it on the ground by accident or on purpose, treating it like a piece of junk, it is actually a tool. So buy an expensive tire gauge and look after it. It's your friend in saving your tires from premature wear and tear and a blowout. And number 2, you're going to save up to 2 miles per the gallon for tires being underinflated. So remember again, quick recap. For every 1 psi a tire is underinflated, you're losing 2% fuel economy. And you have 4 wheels. Don't forget the spare. Next, fuel cap. Damaged, missing, or loose fuel caps cause over 147 million gallons of fuel to evaporate each year. And this for the armchair warrior that says your service light, the money light is on, it's an oxygen sensor or fuel cap. That's BS. You got to test. There is a tool for testing the fuel cap to say it's yes or no. Yes, it can remain in service. No, it can't. The seal is done. If I had a half a nickel for every fuel cap and oxygen sensor that a friend, a neighbor, a coworker, or whatever says, yeah, the light's on, it's your fuel cap because that's what happened to me, or my oxygen sensor went out and I ordered one on the Jungle website and changed it, but then they don't tell you the rest of the story. The light comes back on. The money light comes back on. So we can test these things to verify 100% the fuel cap is good, bad, or ugly, period. So that fuel cap should be checked on a regular basis to make sure that it is not venting fuel vapors to the atmosphere. That's what we call, that emission is the one that everyone needs to work hard on to reduce. The carbon is a joke. I'm going to leave that there. Just ask a farmer. NOx emissions. NOx emissions is the one that's not healthy, and that is unburnt fuel vapor. So, just on another note, when airplanes have a problem, big ones, the big planes that carry thousands of tons of fuel. Yeah, I can't remember what the number is, but it's horrific, and they got to do a safe landing. They got something going on, and they just took off, so the plane is fully stuffed with fuel. They fly out over usually a body of water, about 15,000 feet, and they dump fuel into the atmosphere. They say it evaporates, but I'm thinking, say 15,000 tons of fuel, they're dumping it. That's some NOx emissions into the atmosphere, isn't it? How many leaking fuel caps per number of vehicles would equal that dosage of fuel dumping? Yeah, I know they have to do it because it is what it is, and it is what it is not. For safety, to do a safe landing with less fuel on board than jam-packed. Anyways, I throw that in there. I digress on that one, but I'm just thinking, one airplane that has to dump, say, 15,000 tons of fuel to do a safe re-entry landing, to have lesser fuel on board than what they have, just enough to get to the airport and get the thing down. How many cars would that be that have leaking fuel caps? How many would it take to equal about 15,000 tons of fuel? I don't know. Google it. I probably will. All right, where are we at? 7. We're at number 7. Worn oxygen sensor. So yes, the reason I digressed on that was to segue into oxygen sensors. Again, the armchair warriors will either tell you the service light's on because the fuel cap was loose or it's not working. Just replace the fuel cap, and then the money light comes back on. The same applies to worn oxygen sensors. They lose their sensitivity, and we can test them. We can test input signal, output signal, and we can also see the signal on an engine analyzer, like a heartbeat. And we can tell when it's open loop, closed loop. And I won't get into that right now, what that means, but I will address oxygen sensors and what we're looking for and how they work. In fact, yes, we have a YouTube video up for that because I had to deal with the oxygen sensor on my 07 Toyota FJ Cruiser and also on the 97 Jeep TJ Wrangler Rescue that we rescued from the crusher. I had to rewire an oxygen sensor harness into it because somebody did some work under the hood, left the entire plug that plugs into the vehicle harness from the oxygen sensor into the vehicle harness was melted and looked like some kind of form of grilled cheese sandwich. So that is on our YouTube channel, and you can see what an oxygen sensor is, how many wires it has, whether it's a HEGO or just an O2 sensor. And to find out what that means, you have to watch the video on our YouTube channel that breaks out and shows you I talk about everything oxygen sensor on that video. So here's what we got. You ready? A worn oxygen sensor is unable to detect and adjust the fuel-air mixture correctly and can cause your vehicle to use more fuel than it needs to. And that's true. It's absolutely true. If it's out of calibration, it's out of calibration. Period. And the oxygen sensor tells the computer what temperature the exhaust is at and if there is any NOx or carbons in its, I like to call it the electrical nose. It breathes in the exhaust gases and tells the computer, yo, dude, yeah, put the cartoon mag down there for a minute. Yeah, we got a problem down here. I'm smelling way too much unburned fuel. It's rich. So then the computer says to the injectors, Fellas, fellas, stop giving the engine too much fuel. Well, the oxygen sensor's telling us that, there's a problem here. We're running, we're not getting enough fuel to keep this thing running right. So we're just doing our job. Well, it all works together. So if your oxygen sensor, you may have more than one. I have 4 on the FJ Cruiser. Really sucks to be me. It's just that's like two more than I need, I think, and feel. But anyways, they all have to work together for fuel trim. And we'll talk about that when we talk about tune-ups on modern day vehicles, high-tech vehicles. Yes, we still do tune-ups, Sparky. It's true. So a worn oxygen sensor that's out of calibration. You ready for this one? Write it down on your card, on your leaf bag. Mile per gallon penalty, up to 3 miles to the gallon. All right, last but not least, wheel alignments. I have one vehicle that's ready for, actually 2 vehicles that we did a bunch of front end work on, are ready to hit the alignment rack, 4-wheel alignment. Because if the alignment is out, and I'll tell you this, once a year, you're not going to like me, but it's true. Once a year, you need to have your vehicle 4-wheel aligned. You might say, well, that's just another added expense. I can hear the armchair warriors. And you know what? It's okay. Because destructive criticism is the death gargle of a loser. And that's where I leave it. Many years ago, I said no to drama, and I mean it. Period. No to drama. I stay away from it. I don't need to hear it. It's too negative for me. No. Negative Nellies and negative Neils, forget about it. They don't have a place in my life. Not at all. So here's the thing. We have potholes out there the size of our moon-sized craters, big enough to swallow a Hyundai Accent, and fill the hole and smooth it off. It's disgusting. In my own town, I know what lane to stay out of. Otherwise, if you're trying to drink your morning coffee, you're going to have half of it down the front of your shirt or whatever it is you're wearing, and possibly on your lap, leave you screaming like a little girl. Guys, right? Exactly. So just banging into the potholes like most of you do, instead of avoiding them and slowing down and get out of the way of the potholes, they knock out the steering geometry. They do. Period. Again, bring me 10 cars at random from the local grocery store parking lot. Just go around and pick them and bring them to me. I guarantee you 9 out of 10 have a steering geometry problem, which means your vehicle is pushing your tires down the road, not rolling. Tire wear is an indicator of, number 1, underinflation, overinflation. Number 2, steering suspension components that are worn out. Number 3, you just find it impressive. Maybe that gives you some kind of, chiropractic adjustment by hitting every deep dish manhole cover, or I patched the road myself kind of campaign. I was on a road like that yesterday. I slowed down to like 3 kilometers an hour. And, that cold patch, that's such a waste of freaking time. Oh, my gosh. Might as well stick a pencil in your kneecap. It's less painful. That's our tax money going out the window. I think I flicked most of it out. Doesn't work. So in other words, you got to slow down, keep an eye on the road surface itself, get to know the roadways where you're driving, and avoid them, because that knocks out your steering geometry. And when it's out, that means the vehicle's pushing. If you watch NASCAR or any auto racing, they have to make adjustments on the fly. When they get a yellow caution, the car can come in and they can touch it. If they've got a car that's pushing in the corners, that means it wants to go up in the wall, but you're turning hard left, right? That's NASCAR. Turn left, turn left, turn left, turn left. But if the car's pushing, that means the driver is fighting the car to stop it from going up to the right into the wall where it wants to go. And it wears tires, and then they blow, then they have a blowout, then a caution comes out because the tire's all over the track, etc., etc. Our own vehicles are no different. It's exactly the same. If the steering geometry is out of whack, the car is pushing. It's pushing the tires down the road, scrubbing the tire surface, and wearing your tires out prematurely. That's money. So for all those going, I ain't wasting my money on a freaking alignment. Well, good for you. Wackadoo. Yeah. Period. If your vehicle's in alignment, you're saving money on fuel economy and you're not burning off your front tire. Period. Because that is one of the biggest things that will give you indicator that your steering geometry sucks. It's got problem. You look at the tires, they don't look like the back ones. The back ones look nice, neat, and tidy, and even. They should. If they don't, you got suspension problems in the rear. In vehicles today, four-wheel alignments, we can adjust there's a lot of adjustments on the rear tires as well as the front. So we need to make sure steering geometry is good on all four corners of your vehicle. So wheel alignment that's out of whack, which it probably is, miles per gallon penalty is 1.5 mpgs, miles to the gallon. So if you've stuck around and you took in episode 1, you got 4 fuel saving tips. Now in episode 2, when you listen to this, that'll wrap you up and give you 8 fuel saving tips. Add up your fuel penalty miles per gallon and watch your eyeballs come out of your head. Absolutely. This is a checklist that is absolute freaking gold, my friends. It's gold. Why? Because get your miles per gallon up and do what you need to do out of this checklist to get your vehicle in right standing. It's money in your pocket when you got the nozzle in the tank. That's what I'm saying. There's a friend of mine who's an immigration officer for over 40 years would say, learn it and live it. And that is so true. So changing a few driving habits are going to help you see an increase in fuel economy, friends. Avoid quick or jackrabbit starts and stops. You know who you are. I always, you zip past me like you it's one lap to go and you're waiting for the checkered flag and I'm right on your butt at the next stoplight. I love that. You know what I do? I laugh my pants off. Well, not completely. Maybe just partially. Sitting idle will also get you 0 miles per gallon. Turn the vehicle off if you've been sitting for more than a minute. I do that quite often. If I'm stuck, traffic ain't moving, I shut it off. Saves you money. And here's another one. You're not going to like me on this one. You ready? Drive the speed limit. The signs, friends, yeah, it's not a suggestion, just so you know. And yeah, I'm the slowest driver in the household, and I'm okay with that award because I got a good shakedown by a judge many years ago because I was not a slow driver. And he reminded me about what the results would be of my stupidity and poor choices. He said, your poor choices are going to cause you to have to get a bus pass, mister. And today's the day you need to fix that. Because if you come back here again and stand before me, you'll know already it's going to be a memorable day for you. There you go. So drive the speed limit. Gas mileage decreases rapidly at speeds above 65 to 70 mph. So what we know about 60 miles per hour is about our 100 kilometers per hour suggestion on the roadside, on the road sign. So that should help you. Each mile per hour driven over 70 miles per hour can cost you, ready? Another 10 cents per gallon for you not fixing your schedule so that you have more time to get to work, get into bed early so you can get up earlier and get set off to work sooner. That lifestyle is costing all of you thousands of dollars in more fuel expense every single year. Do you realize that? But the reason you don't feel it is you don't see it. That's why. And here's another statistic for you. If you have, I have one more, and then I'm going to leave you with this episode 2 on fuel saving tips. Giving you some bonus round here. If you have a tachometer in your car, fellas and fellettes that have a big foot to press that loud pedal, you're the ones, you know who you are out there on the highways and byways, because my head is on a swivel when I'm on the road, and I'm watching your driving habits, and I'm going, you have got to be dumber than a stick to drive like that, because you're spending thousands, and I'm not talking hundreds, and just single dollars, thousands of dollars in wear and tear on your vehicle, as well as lost fuel economy. Because when that RPM gauge jumps above 2,500 RPMs, you're not getting any fuel economy at all. If you listen closely and put all 4 windows down, you can actually hear a severe sucking sound. Yeah, that's the fuel being sucked out of your fuel tank and going through the engine, because you got a big foot, you got a bad habit with your schedule, and you do not drive the speed limit. Well, I'm just keeping up with everybody else. Well, I'll tell you something my father said to me when I was younger. If your buddy jumped off the bridge into the Niagara River, would you do it? Well, no. Well, there you go. That's what he'd say. Well, there you go. So just because somebody else is doing that, you're there for you to keep up with someone you don't even know and you don't even like is costing you thousands of dollars in wear and tear and fuel expenses. So remember, tomorrow morning when you're out driving, look at the RPM gauge. So between 2,200 and 2,500 RPM, 2,200 is a sweet spot. The engine's not overworking. It's just out for a stroll in the park. And that gets you more mileage. That's how I make it to 500,000 miles on a vehicle. I'm not doing what you're doing, but you have to go and replace your vehicle because you wear the damn thing out. Yeah, you wear it out prematurely, costing more money. Yeah, that's being a really bad donkey. Absolutely. So when you hit 2,500 RPM, you can do this. That's kissing your fuel economy totally goodbye, because you're not getting it. You're not getting any fuel economy to keep up with your lifestyle. Ain't happening. Not today, not tomorrow, not how well you maintain it and change the oil on time and everything. You're kissing your fuel economy goodbye at 2,500 RPM. Gone. That is what I call a foregone conclusion. All right, next. I'm scolding you a bit, but I'm doing it in love, because you're costing yourself money. Just like a fellow watching him do a burnout. I love it. A big smoky burnout. My father would say, there's someone got more money than brains. It's true. It's absolutely true. Tires aren't free. Unless, maybe you're working for a tire manufacturing company. All right, here you go. Last bonus round for fuel saving tips. This should fill your stocking. Avoid carrying unneeded heavy items in your trunk. An extra 100 pounds in the trunk. And I know a lot of you, I used to have to go looking for the locking wheel nut dewey thingy to get the wheel nuts off. And the trunk is stuffed full like a warehouse. And I'd have to phone and say, could you I can't get your wheels off until somebody comes down here and finds the locking wheel nut Dewey thingy so we can get the wheels off. I said, if you want to pay us by the hour to try and find it, it's hide and seek. 2 hours, that's like $140. I'll send my wife down. That's usually what would happen. So avoid carrying unneeded heavy items in your trunk or in your pickup truck. An extra 100 pounds in the trunk reduces the typical car's fuel economy by 1 to 2%. Cha-ching. I've gone on a little too far for you. It took up an extra 15 minutes of your time, but I've given you every fuel saving tip in 2 episodes. So be sure to check in and listen to episode 1 to get the first 4. Episode 2 will give you the next 4 along with the bonus tips as well. And I really mean that on the speed. Slow down. Watch how much money you save in 1 month. That's my challenge. That's my 2026 New Year's fuel economy resolution for you is take 1 month and track your fuel economy, how much money you're putting in the gas tank every month, every driplet, every droplet, every squeeze for 1 month, continuing to drive with the driving habits you currently have. Next test. 1 month driving maybe 10K over, 5 to 10K over the speed limit. Just barely. I do that. That's it for me. 5 to 10 over. I'm done. I'm watching my RPM because I do not like squeezing fuel and wasting fuel into my car. I just do not want it. You know, we work hard for $1 and then you're pissing it away just like that. So then you're going to take a whole month, do the speed limit plus a tad. I prefer the limit, but then there's those that are just, they're the evildoers that, you know, you should be run off the road into the rhubarb patch, into the lake, through the fence, over the guardrail because you're going the speed limit. I poo-poo those people. It's okay. Because remember, as long as you're behind, you know, if you ain't the lead dog, the view's always the same. So when they come up behind me, I just laugh. It's okay. I'll get there and I'll save money. So for 1 month, you're going to change your driving habits. You're going to fix your schedule, getting too late to bed, having a hard time getting your butt out of bed in the morning, and you're running behind all the time. Fix that for 1 month and watch how much money's left over at the end of the month compared to the month before. You'll be blown away. You'll be all in to what I've just shared with you. You will be all in, my friends. So have a very, very Merry Christmas. If you're out and about with friends and family, I always like to say this. If you have a little too much cheer, make sure, you know what, there's several ways to get you home safely and you're not out there while I'm out there. Just do it. All right? You can take the bus, arrange a cab, arrange an Uber, take a, what do they call them, designated driver with you. No excuses. No excuses for that. Pre-planned. Have a good time. But remember, if you're going to have some cheer, make sure you have a safe way to keep us all safe out there and yourself and get home safely. Have a very, very Merry Christmas and enjoy time with family, friends, and those that you normally can't get time with. And let's not forget those who've had a rough year and lost family members around this time a year ago, or just very recently, which I can say. Think about them. Reach out to them because it's a tough time for those people right now. It's a tough time. The memories, the hurt, and everything else. So peace, patience, kindness, keep it under 100. Happy, healthy motoring, and we'll see you just after Christmas. I'll be here for you. Monday through Saturday. Stop by for Motormouth Morning Drive. Don't miss it. Love y'all. Bye for now.